Afghanistan. The very name evokes images of rugged mountains, conflict-ridden landscapes, and a people resilient in the face of adversity. Yet, this landlocked nation, nestled in the heart of Asia, is much more than the headlines it generates. Afghanistan is a land of ancient beginnings, a cradle of civilizations dating back millennia. Its history is a tapestry woven with threads of conquest, trade, and cultural exchange. Long before the modern world took shape, Afghanistan was a crossroads of empires and a melting pot of cultures. The ancient city of Balkh, known as the Mother of Cities, stood as a testament to this rich past. It was a major center along the Silk Road, the ancient trade route that connected the East and the West. This strategic location placed Afghanistan at the heart of a global network, shaping its destiny for centuries to come. From the rise and fall of empires to the ebb and flow of conquering armies, Afghanistan has witnessed it all. The region has been home to a succession of powerful kingdoms and empires. These include the Persian Achaemenids, who incorporated Afghanistan into their vast empire in the 6th century BC, and Alexander the Great, who swept through the region in the 4th century BC, leaving an indelible mark on its culture and history. The legacy of these ancient powers is still visible today, etched in the ruins and monuments that dot the Afghan landscape. These echoes of the past serve as a constant reminder of Afghanistan's enduring spirit. They speak of a land that has been shaped by countless cultures and civilizations, each leaving its own unique imprint. Understanding this rich tapestry of history is essential to comprehending the complexities of modern-day Afghanistan. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring human spirit in the face of relentless change. The arrival of Islam in the 7th century AD marked a profound turning point in Afghanistan's history. The Arab armies, driven by the zeal of their newfound faith, swept across Persia and into the heart of Afghanistan. This conquest was not merely a military takeover, it was a cultural and religious transformation that would reshape Afghan society forever. The introduction of Islam brought with it a new way of life, a new legal system, and a new social order. The teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad resonated deeply with the Afghan people, leading to a gradual but widespread conversion to Islam. Cities like Herat and Balkh, once centers of Buddhist and Zoroastrian learning, were transformed into important centers of Islamic scholarship. The arrival of Islam did not erase Afghanistan's pre-Islamic past. Instead, it blended with existing traditions, creating a unique cultural fusion. This fusion is evident in the country's architecture, music, and literature, where Islamic motifs and themes are interwoven with ancient Persian and Central Asian influences. The Islamic conquest marked the beginning of a new era for Afghanistan, an era in which the country would emerge as a vital center of the Islamic world. It was during this period that Afghanistan gave rise to powerful empires that would leave their mark not only on the region, but on the broader course of Islamic history. The centuries following the Islamic conquest witnessed the rise of powerful empires that had their roots in Afghan soil. Among these, the Ghaznavids and the Timurids stand out for their military prowess, administrative acumen, and contributions to art and culture. These empires projected Afghan power far beyond its borders, establishing their dominance over vast swathes of Central and South Asia. The Ghaznavid Empire, founded by Mahmud of Ghazni in the late 10th century, emerged from the city of Ghazni in southeastern Afghanistan. Mahmud, a shrewd military strategist and a patron of the arts, led his armies on a series of conquests, expanding his empire eastward into India. The Ghaznavids are credited with introducing Persian language and culture into India, laying the groundwork for the later Mughal Empire. Centuries later, another empire arose from the heart of Afghanistan, the Timurid Empire. Founded by Timur, also known as Tamerlane in the 14th century, this empire stretched from Anatolia in the west to the Indus River in the east. Timur, a brilliant military tactician and a ruthless conqueror, is remembered for his military campaigns, which left a trail of destruction and conquest across Asia. However, he was also a patron of the arts and sciences, and his reign witnessed a flourishing of Persian literature, architecture, and miniature painting. The Ghaznavids and the Timurids left an enduring legacy on Afghanistan. They established powerful centralized states, promoted trade and commerce, and fostered a vibrant cultural environment. Their reigns marked a golden age in Afghan history, a period of power, prosperity, and cultural efflorescence. Section 4. Crossroads of Conflict, the Great Game. As the Mughal Empire in India began to decline in the 18th century, Afghanistan once again found itself at the crossroads of competing empires. This time, the players were the British Empire, expanding its influence from the east, and the Russian Empire, pushing southward from Central Asia. Afghanistan, caught between these two behemoths, became a pawn in their geopolitical chess match, a period known as the Great Game. The British, fearing Russian encroachment towards their prized possession, India, sought to establish a buffer state in Afghanistan. They engaged in a series of wars and diplomatic maneuvers to secure their interests. But Afghan resistance proved fierce and unrelenting. The First Anglo-Afghan War, from 1839 to 1842, infamous for the disastrous retreat of the British Army from Kabul, is a stark reminder of the challenges faced by foreign powers in Afghanistan. The Russians, meanwhile, were consolidating their control over Central Asia. They provided support to Afghan rulers and exerted their influence through diplomacy and military aid. The rivalry between the British and the Russians intensified throughout the 19th century, shaping Afghanistan's destiny and fueling instability in the region. The Great Game had a profound impact on Afghanistan. It undermined the country's sovereignty, fueled internal conflicts, and left a legacy of mistrust towards foreign powers. Afghanistan's strategic location, once a blessing, had become a curse, turning it into a battleground for empires. Section 5. Echoes of Invasion, the Soviet-Afghan War. The 20th century brought new challenges to Afghanistan. Following a period of relative peace and modernization under King Zahir Shah, the country was plunged into turmoil by a coup in 1973. This event paved the way for the Tsar Revolution in 1978, which brought a communist government to power, aligning Afghanistan with the Soviet Union. The new communist government, facing internal resistance and instability, sought support from the Soviet Union. In December 1979, Soviet troops intervened in Afghanistan, marking the beginning of a decade-long conflict that would have far-reaching consequences. The Soviet invasion triggered a brutal civil war, pitting the Soviet-backed Afghan government against a coalition of mujahideen groups, armed and supported by the United States, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. The Soviet-Afghan War was a costly and bloody affair. The Soviet Union poured vast resources into the conflict, but the mujahideen, fighting a guerrilla war in the rugged Afghan terrain, proved to be a formidable foe. The war devastated Afghanistan's infrastructure, displaced millions of people, and left the country in ruins. The Soviet Union withdrew from Afghanistan in 1989, having failed to achieve its objectives. The war, however, had a profound impact on the country, leaving behind a legacy of violence, instability, and a deeply divided society.